Hey what's up guys, Bryce here. We're back at it again for another video. In this video, we have a race at Silverstone in the LMP2s. This is going to be my last LMP2 video for a little bit because we're entering the GT3 season. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. I was racing against a 7K iRacing driver who was really quick, and I didn't know exactly who it was. I didn't really care at the time, to be honest. I was just racing until I found out afterwards that it was actually a Team REDLINE driver. It was Ben Cornett. And he had the website in his biography in iRacing, and he had the livery as well, so I was 100% sure that this was definitely him. And I could definitely see why it was him, because he was really quick. But I almost won this race, but it got a little bit hairy and a lot of off tracks towards the end. So stick around and let's dissect this race. Starting on P2 on the grid, he was a little bit quicker by 1/10 of a second, and I just wasn't able to snatch pole position. Safety car goes into the pits, and you can see on the right hand side, he's gonna pull away super quickly and he is gone. He already has a little bit of a gap up front, and we're just gonna carry as much speed as we can through these last couple of corners. I was surprised at how quick he took away. I usually take off just after the chicane, but he was gone by this point. He took advantage and kind of caught us sleeping just a little bit. He didn't pull too much of a gap though. I'm right here behind him, and look at all these other LMP2 cars behind. And again, I didn't really care who the driver was at this point. You know, I was just really just racing and pushing the limit. But afterwards, I found out he was racing for Team REDLINE, which is actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool that you can see these guys in official series. This is IMSA, so we have GT3 cars, a lot of opportunities. 45-minute race, you can see the gap there, and he pulls away a lot on corner exit. Corner exit is really where I was struggling, and he was able to pull away. You can see corner entry, we're kind of close here, but then look at this. He just pulls away, a lot of grip, his car's on rails, and he pulls away through this corner exit, and this is kind of the theme for this race. And if you guys do enjoy these videos, be sure to leave a like down below. Going into the sweeping right-hander here, and we're racing for Evolution Racing, our own team, and he's racing for Team REDLINE, so this is going to be pretty interesting. If you guys don't know what Team REDLINE is, it is the most successful, one of the most successful teams in iRacing. Max Verstappen races for them, Lando Norris, and a lot of other top-tier drivers who are really quick. I think they've won a lot of events. They won the, 12 Hours of Bathurst, or 24. Really successful team, have a lot of really fast drivers, and as you can see, we are racing one of them. And this really killed the first part of the race. We go a little bit wide, and just from going wide, the gap has opened up to almost a second. It is 0.9 at this point, and the first couple of laps is tricky. Tires aren't really fully up to temperature. Yes, you can get quick lap times, but they feel the best, and I kind of get into a groove as well. Now, he's pulled away a little bit, and we have 20 minutes left in this race, and we are entering the pit stop phase, and just look how far he is. He's 2.5 seconds up there. So this lap, we took a really early pit stop. When I mean really early, I didn't have anything in terms of pace. I could not throw anything at him in terms of pace, so we needed to do something outside the box, and we just needed to do something crazy. So you can see the lap times up there. He's about 0.6 quicker. So we needed to do something crazy. We needed to do something outside of the box, so we went for a very early pit stop. This pit stop was right when the pit window opened, and what this will do is this will allow us to put in hot laps and clear air while he has to deal with the GT3 cars. We're going to dive into the pits now. Braking super hard. Pit limit is 50 miles an hour. I think that's like 80 kph, somewhere around there. Going to the pits now, we need to get a really good stop, and we do get a good stop, and we come out the pits in a decent position. There weren't that many other LMP2 cars who were able to stick with us, so I only have one car in front of us, and now it's really just going to be putting in hot laps to the end. And this is the lap where he goes into the pits. We're coming around the first corner here. This is about 12 laps after. You can see he comes out the pits right there. He has a really good run down to turn one. Look how close we are now. We are right behind him going into this corner here, and look how close we are. We're going to try to get a late apex onto this straight, and the gap, he's already on the gas a little bit sooner than we are, and he's able to pull away just a slight bit, but this is the closest we've ever been all race. So now it's really an opportunity to try to pass him and just stick with him for this basically last 10 minutes of the race. We have 10 minutes to pass this guy. Pit stops are over, so it's really just going to be down to raw pace to try to pass him. What can we do? Well, not much at this point because he's already pulling away a little bit, and you can just see he really does have a lot more traction coming out these corners. Just really, really quick overall, but we're going to stay in the slipstream. We're pushing probably the most I've ever pushed in a race. You definitely drive faster when you're with other guys who are quick, because you're really going to be pushing yourself to catch up and to keep up with him. Through Maggots and Beckett's, I really was on him. You can see how close we are now. Now, during me just pushing as hard as I can, you'll see that I do go wide in certain areas and I am racking up my X count. And it got up to a point where I could not go off track anymore. I had about 15x, and 17 is a drive-through penalty. So just 2 more off tracks and I'll be fine. So I knew that I had to keep it clean for the last 5 minutes of this race. Going through the chicane here, again, he's not really dropping us, but he is pulling a little bit of a gap, so it's going to be really tricky to try to pass him. And this lap here that we're about to show, we have about 5 minutes left in this race, and you can see we have a backmarker LMP2 car, so this is even better than a GT3 car. You can see he's weaving to try to get his attention so he knows that he is there, and he slows down so much. Look how close we are now. We are within a 1/10 of a second right on his bumper, and we're going through, I think that's Beckett's, one of the corners there, and we're on this straight here. And this is a really good opportunity. Look how close we are now. We're going to get a nice slipstream going this corner here. We're going to dart to the outside of the track, break a little bit later than he is. We're almost going to go side by side through this corner. Side by side, he gets through, and now we're going to have another lap of just me trying to get past this guy. Breaking at the 100-meter board, getting a later apex than he can. He's going to defend the inside line. We absolutely mount that curb, kiss the inside apex there, and he gets a little bit of wheel spin. This is going to allow us to be right on the back of him on this straight here. He moves to the inside of the track. We're going to stay on the inside, so he stays there. We dart to the outside. We're going to cut back on him here. Super close racing here, and look how close we are. We're going to brake super hard here. We know we can brake a little bit later than he can. Open up the radius of the corner. We're side by side. We're on the outside. Now we're going to have the inside, and we pass him, and we get this move done. Now he's still here. We're going to have to do a lot of defending and make sure he stays behind. This battle is far from over. 5 minutes left. He gets a little bit of oversteer. Now he's officially behind us, but look at all these GT3s in front of us. It's going to be really tricky to try to get by all of these guys and keep him behind us. We have a Ferrari. He's going to stay on the inside there. He gets stuck just a little bit, and we're going to be able to make it through, and we're pulling a little bit of a gap here. The gap has opened up to about half a second, and this is really good for us because now we are in front. But look at this. We have 3 GT3 cars that we need to pass. We get super lucky here, and we just take a little bit of inside line, block the inside so he can't pass us. But you'll see he's here on the left-hand side. Somehow he was able to get past an AMG going through Maggots and Beckett's. He hits the AMG. We go into the AMG, and then we're on the grass, come back on track, and that is pretty much how this race kind of ended. I did get quite a lot of off tracks towards the beginning. We're going to fight back here, but it's really going to be no use. I got a lot of off tracks in the beginning, and I was at 12 at this point. He pushed me wide, the GT3 obviously, and that was enough to give me a drive-through penalty. And then we go into the pits, and that is the race ended shorter than I would have liked. I was pushing so hard that I got about 12x at that point, and then once you get contact and go off track like that, that's another 5x. Alright guys, so let's look at this incident a little bit more and dissect it and find out how he exactly got side by side with me. Because I was really surprised that he did go side by side with me after this corner here. So after I made the move, GT3 car, we got a little bit of a gap here. What he does here, if this was a league race, I think this would be illegal. You can't pass cars off track. It has to be within the white lines. So what he does here is we're going through this corner here, and he passes these GT3 cars off the track, and then he comes back on the track, and that's how he ends up side by side with me. So he pretty much kind of bypassed these cars by just going off track, passing them, coming back on track. That's why I purposely put my car where I did, so that he couldn't go down the middle. And then boom, he's right beside me, bypasses GT3 cars really easily. And then going to this corner, we have another GT3 car who is pretty much taking the normal line. He runs a little bit wide, but he also sees me coming in. So what he does here is he just goes into the back of him. Boom, he hits the GT3 car, and pretty much punts the GT3 car into me. Hits the GT3 car, the GT3 car is gonna slide right into me. I lose control, and right here, 4x, another X, and possibly another X for losing control of the car. That's like 8x right there. Not 8, maybe like 6 or 5x right there just from all of this, and that's my drive-through penalty. And then from here, he hits that car, he hits the GT3 car, he cuts the track there a little bit, and then he cuts the track even more over here. And then, yeah, that's how he pretty much was able to get in front of me during this whole incident. So I would say very aggressive. Definitely, if it was a league, he would have gotten penalized for this. One for hitting the GT3 car, and another for passing these cars off track. I definitely would have had that position if he didn't get by those cars. And then, yeah, when he comes back on track, if I didn't get hit, he definitely would have ran into me right here, because he's just going straight across the track here. And then unfortunately, I couldn't fight back because at this point, I had 16x at this point, and I had to go in the pits. Obviously, a lot of that was caused for my own mistakes in going off track, but if I didn't get that contact, I definitely would have been fine. I just would have had to been a little bit safer. It is what it is when you're fighting for the lead in this position, just because in iRacing officials you can get away with things like this and not have the punishment of you know, live stewards or anything like that. So yeah, I served my drive-through penalty, but I didn't serve it because I've never gotten a drive-through penalty before. So I went into the pit stall twice, actually. I went into the pits twice and went into the pit stall, and it didn't count it. And then the third time I went into the pits, I actually went through the whole pits like I'm supposed to, and then that kind of relieved that drive-through penalty. And that is pretty much it. That's kind of race over, you know. Once you get a drive-through penalty, it's pretty much over. Like, he was obviously going to keep that P1. Last lap of the race, we come home to finish in 4th, and you know, 4th isn't bad, but what a battle, what a race. You can see we pull over quite quickly. I usually do a cooldown lap, but just wanted to kind of, I really wasn't upset at the incident at all. I was just more upset that I got so many X's that I had to retire the car pretty much, because then I would have been able to keep on battling with him. But that is going to be it. That just shows you the level of these guys at 7K iRating. That's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. That was a really fun race, and looking back at it, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun moments in there, you know, making passes, getting past, and of course, going wide just a little bit too many times. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of, you know, his driving and my driving in the comments down below. I'm really curious. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.